Hi, my name is Jeff, and we want to welcome you to our video, how to select the best builder for your custom, high-end, energy-efficient home. We also want to welcome you to our house, the Sanctuary at Hope Farms. My wife Sandy and I have just gone through the process for the last 3 years to build our dream home. And we had an amazing experience with our builders, Mike and Andrea Mahan of Adaptive Building Solutions here in Ann Arbor, Michigan. The main house is built on a permanent wood foundation, which allowed us to strip a lot of the concrete out to make the home carbon neutral. We invested in solar so that we produce and store as much energy as the entire home consumes. We used a lot of reclaimed material. The siding is from Doug fir from Bozeman, Montana, that's used throughout the home. We have bird-safe glass throughout the home to be friendly to our winged neighbors. For heat and energy management, we invested in external shade systems to keep the heat from entering the thermal envelope, which helps us to manage the cooling and heating inside. And we've got geothermal, so we're using the power of the earth and the natural cooling abilities to keep the home cool and as energy efficient as possible. Just wanted to share with you the story of what it was like building with them and some of the key takeaway lessons that we think would be helpful for you, whether you're building an energy efficient home here in Michigan or anywhere around the world, of how to select the best builder for your energy efficient home. So for the 10 suggestions that came out of our experience of building this home, the first one, before you even select the builder, is to, number one, start with your values. Values were really important to my family. We've got 2 young sons in their 20s who are exceptionally environmentally conscious, concerned about the climate. And that became part of the conversation from day one after we bought this extraordinary conservation easement property about how do we honor the value of the land and the value of natural resources and the environment. And that really drove a lot of our thinking about the design and about who we were going to want to choose both as architects and as builders. Our values first and foremost were about the environment, honoring the environment, the natural resources, trying to understand from day one how to manage energy really efficiently and how to be environmentally responsible. Also aesthetics obviously was key to us. A lot of people might start with design first. We chose to really inform our decisions based on the values of energy management, environmental responsibility, and how to make something look like it came from this beautiful property organically out of the ground. So suggestion number 2 is to really understand your land and your property and how it informs the values. We've got a 143-acre conservation easement property here just west of Ann Arbor. Some of you out there might have a small lot on a cul-de-sac. But I spent a lot of time on this land trying to understand what the land looked like and how it felt naturally, the natural contours, how water flowed, the sight lines with trees, the sight lines with sunset. We decided, we've got these extraordinary western views of the sky, that we were going to have a home that was facing the west with big glass windows, which then brought up a challenge of how do you create this, what could be a heat box because you want to see the, the sunsets at night. But again, all that can be solved with very thoughtful selections of both architects and builders who understand how to build that to your values and make a comfortable, energy efficient home. And the third suggestion we have about how to select the best builder for your energy efficient home is to first select the best architect who's focused on energy efficiency and environmental responsibility. With us here in Ann Arbor, we actually just put it into Google, who is the best architect who understood environmental sustainability in Southeast Michigan, and up came Michael Klement from Architectural Resource, who's a genuine thought leader, kind of like a science guy like Bill Nye, who's just excited about sharing all the latest and greatest technologies that are out there and available to homeowners when choosing how to design and ultimately build an energy efficient home responsible to the environment. That was key. And what also is very key about Michael and his team at Architectural Resource is they're known for integrating the builders into the design process exceptionally early. So as opposed to going through the entire process with an architect and having plans, and then in a linear fashion, well, let's go find a builder, integrating the builder into the architect's thought process and design and discussion makes reality part of the design discussion. And it really makes things so much more efficient and cost-effective in the end. So now we're going to get into the meat of this process, which are, from our experience, the 5 most important criteria for how to select your builder. Once we had selected our architect, he insisted on a process where we interview 3 different builders that he thought would be the right types of builders for our particular project. And my wife and I and our sons, we really came up with a list of like, how do you decide? I mean, these are people you're getting into a marriage with. It's your biggest investment. So we really gave some thought to what were really the 5 most important criteria going into it, and then reflecting back on it in selecting the best builder. So the first, again, started with values. What's the values of the builder? In our particular case, Mike and Andrea Mann from Adaptive Building Solution, they actually started their company for the specific reason of being leaders in environmental sustainability and responsibility. Their value aligned with our number 1 value, which is we wanted to have a home that exhibited that thought leadership in environmental sustainability, responsibility, and energy efficiency. The second criteria is understanding the builder's process. And again, from our experience, Mike and Andrea as a husband-wife team were absolutely perfect for my wife and I to work with. I spent a lot of time with Mike on the infrastructure. My wife spent a lot of time with Andrea on the selection process. And that divide and conquer between Mike and Andrea as builders made for an incredibly efficient process in communication, and it was actually enjoyable. The day after we signed the contract with them, Andrea immediately introduced us to the plumbing suppliers and the lighting suppliers so that my wife and I could start choosing light fixtures and plumbing fixtures for a home that wasn't going to be built for 2 to 3 years. Now, what was fascinating about this is it immediately took the pressure off of those things that a lot of families might have to, make decisions at the last minute after being through a very complicated and stressful process. Number 3 criteria, really critical, is visibility into costs and visibility into the unknowns. One of the things Mike and Andrea did at the very beginning when we were interviewing them showed us their Builder Trend software. And we were able to see how every single line item is accounted for with ranges so that you could manage the overages and sometimes underages. So that gave me a lot of comfort that for all the decisions that were going to be made, all the cost decisions, that there would be a central repository where we could all continuously look at it and see where we were in this multi-year process on budget and make decisions accordingly. The 4th criteria in selecting the best builder is also the stage of life that that particular builder is at. In the 3 builders which we interviewed, they were all very capable builders. Mike and Andrea, uniquely, they were ascending in their careers. I had, interviewed prior clients from the types of projects they were building, and they were continuing to devote themselves to more award-winning design projects focused on environmental sustainability and energy efficiency. And we realized those are the people we really wanted to partner with. The 5th criteria is chemistry, just personal chemistry. Mike and Andrea, again, this is probably going to be the biggest and most important investment you make. Choose the people that chemistry just sits right with you in your core. So the 5th key point in how to select the best builder for your energy efficient home is to understand how to manage the marriage and how to resolve any conflict. With us, this was a very complicated project. We have a main home of about 4,400 square feet. We've got 3 outbuildings. We wanted to hit all these net zero, carbon neutral, targets. And when it finally came time to look at what the final budget was going to cost, the number was still too high. And in that last meeting with the architects and the builders, it was kind of tense because we knew we had to get creative. And I immediately suggested deconstructing the budget and taking the 3 outbuildings and buying kits from a local lumber company that our builders could then customize with their subcontractors, while focusing all the energy efficiency and all the other metrics into the main house. And quite honestly, our builders, Mike and Andrea, were taken aback because they had spent months line iteming every single individual component of materials and labor, and they weren't prepared for somebody like, okay, that's great, but I think, what if we do it this way? And it was a bit of a tense conversation. And I remember thinking that night, and talking to my wife about, I'm not sure we're gonna be able to work with folks if they can't adapt quickly to something that's so complex and that is so costly to us. The next morning we woke up at 7 a.m. and there was a little bit of an apology email from Mike, our builder. I realized our name is Adaptive Building Solutions, so we have to adapt. And if this is the way you want to approach this, we're happy to do that. That made me feel really good. To work with a builder that has so many years of experience, but at the same time respected the expertise or creativity of the client, was really key. I think this part about how do you manage the conflict so that you're not afraid of it, but that you've got a good working relationship, it helps to have people who could adapt. The 6th criteria in how to choose the best builder for a high-end energy efficient home is to choose a builder who values continuous learning. These types of homes that take advantage of the latest technologies in energy efficiency and energy management really require somebody who's committed to understanding what the state of the art is. It was a fascinating process when we were still in the design process with our architect, and Mike and Andrea, our builders, were part of that process. We were discussing the value of straw bale, homes made out of straw hay. Why? Because it's the best way to sequester carbon in the environment. And we were talking about, it's possible maybe our party barn, of the 4 structures that we were building, we could do that out of straw bales. Mike, our builder, went to Kentucky for a week to learn how to build homes out of straw bale. Even though in the end we chose not to do that, we so valued the fact that he wanted to be up with the latest expertise and knowledge of how to integrate natural technologies like that to create energy efficient homes that are responsible to the environment. And that's something we truly valued. So the 7th suggestion I would give you is to really explore your builder's relationship with their subcontractors. One of the things that was fascinating with our building experience with Mike and Andrea is once our architects came up with a virtual 3D model of what this home was going to look like, Mike brought in all the subcontractors and made them put on the goggles to walk through the house and visualize, this is what we as a team are going to build. What do you think? And it was fascinating because a lot of the subcontractors actually had ideas in the design phase. Well, if you do this a little bit differently, it'll make it easier for us to put this structure up or to make these connections. And that integration of the architect to the builder and the builder to the subcontractor in integrating their real world insight is something that made this project literally flawless. The number 8 suggestion we could give you is to really understand with your builder how you're going to manage on-site problem solving. This project, once we broke ground, was about a 2-year project. And there's so many things that happen on a daily basis that sometimes you still have decisions to make in real time. And then the question becomes what's that relationship like with the builder to solve problems in real time as you've got work crews already in the field. One of the things I truly appreciated about our builders, Mike and Andrea, is when major issues came up, we got very long emails from them saying, here are all the issues, here's the unknowns, and here's what our choices are with the best information possible. And we really appreciated that level of detailed communication, which also established a record. So we could look back and say, how did we do relative to those unknowns? One of the things I also really appreciated the education from Mike was about teaching us what parts of the process there would be things beyond our control, like when we did the original excavation, and to understand how water flowed through the field, which we had to battle, and it cost us a little bit. Once we dug up the soil, to realize we needed so much more fill than we had calculated to begin with, because again, you don't know that until you put the shovel in the ground sometimes. But what was great was Mike sort of calmly saying, listen, at these early stages in the process, we're gonna hit a couple more unknowns, but once the foundation is up and our platform is in, then those types of things are really generally within our control. So managing those expectations. I think the third thing that comes to mind in terms of problem solving in real time, our siding. I had volunteered, hey, we'll save a little bit of money. I'll do all the pre-staining of all this reclaimed material from Bozeman, Montana, until 2 flatbed trucks arrived with all the material, and I realized it would take a couple years for me to do that. So Mike and Andrea, luckily their teenage son came to the rescue with his football team. But again, when choosing a builder, have that conversation up front about how are we going to solve problems in real time as they come up. So the 9th most important factor in selecting the best builder is organization at the job site. One of the comments that everybody who came to visit this build site over the 2+ year period, everybody made the comment, this is the cleanest job site we've ever seen. Our friends, our family, the subcontractors mentioned it's literally, of all the projects they've done, the cleanest they've seen. And that was because of the commitment of Mike and Andrea to their process. Andrea would be here every day vacuuming while the construction was still going on. Why? Because if the dirt from outside gets embedded into the floor, it makes it harder later to clean up. The reason we wanted to come here was this was the site of our massive dumpster for 2 years, and we've got a couple of the last remaining pieces of building material that are still going to be taken out. But there were days where I would see Mike and Andrea in the dumpster, individually or together, organizing the garbage in the dumpster. Why? Because they wanted to make it as efficient as possible, and they wanted to ensure that when the truck came to pick it up, it wasn't over the top, because they would refuse and then we would lose money. I've never met another builder who will actually get in a dumpster to organize garbage. But it goes back to the quality of the process and the efficiency of the overall project. So number 10 is to really focus on choosing a builder with the highest commitment to quality. With our builders, Mike was here, almost every day in the main infrastructure part of the build. But what was remarkable was how Andrea was here literally every day for the last few months as all the subcontractors were finishing the finishing work, which really determines the look and feel of the house and your investment. There were times I actually watched Andrea ask a subcontractor to do something 3 times until it was right. And I watched the reaction of the subcontractor, and they were actually happy to do it because they wanted to be as proud of the finished project as Andrea and Mike and my wife Sandy and I. And that's really from a respect for quality and an understanding of that commitment to quality. And that's the builder you want to choose. And my last piece of wisdom is have fun. This is going to be the scariest, most expensive, and hopefully most rewarding journey of your life, to build your dream home. And to have Mike and Andrea in our lives for so many years, it's like they're part of the family. We just really had fun with them every day. And after all, it was Mike who helped me hang the cow, because who wouldn't want an 8-foot cow head in their high-end, energy-efficient home?